接下来我们就要邀请德国来的好朋友，德国纽伦堡来的好朋友 Mr. Benjamin. Mr. Benjamin, please come on the stage and share your experience with everyone. 我们都知道，班杰明先生有一家很成功的公司，是有关于一间科技孵化器公司。现在就让我们热烈的掌声来欢迎 Mr. Benjamin Bohr.
Ni hao and hello. Thank you very much for the invitation. I'm honored to be here today to talk about my tech incubator in Germany. And I had a very warm welcome. Thank you very much to the city of Taichung. I'm really happy to be here. So I want to talk about what we do in Germany as one example, Zollhof Tech Incubator, how we help startups start and grow their business, and also how we help students and pupils to join the startup scene. And as one example, to find a job is to create your own job. So that's why we're helping young people to start their businesses. So what is Zollhof? Zollhof is the new home for tech startups and digital innovators in Germany. We are located in Nuremberg, which is close to Munich, so it's in the south of Germany. And why tech startups and why digital innovators? Tech startups, we help startups that have an innovative business model, a scalable business model, and that have a technical product. And what are digital innovators? That's how we call our corporate partner network. So our companies that work with us to help that startups grow. Just to give you an example, who is behind Zollhof Tech Incubator? It's a company, and that's very special. That consists of public companies, so the university, the local university is shareholder of the company. Then the city of Nuremberg, the city government is also shareholder. Then one individual, Professor Peter Kempf, he was the CEO of DATEV, which is Europe's biggest tech software company. And he's now the president of BDI, which is the Federal Association for the Industry in Germany. So he's the head of the German industry, and he's direct advisor to our Chancellor Angela Merkel. And he's invested in our company as well. And then we have 4 private companies you probably know. So the first one is Siemens, which is the biggest corporation in Germany. These are shareholders in our company. Then we have Schaeffler, which is the biggest auto manufacturer supplier in Germany. And then we have 2 insurance companies. The one is Huccoburg and the other one is Nürnberger Insurance Company. Huccoburg is the biggest car insurance company in Germany. So these are our investors, and this is the basis for our tech incubator. So what are the topics we are interested in? So we have a lot of topics our startups work in. For example, urban mobility, e-mobility is one of the topics we're interested in. Then another one is digital health. So in Germany we have an aging society, and I think this is a really hot topic at the moment. And IoT, Internet of Things, is another one. Then artificial intelligence is a topic we're interested in. Big data, software as a service, and also virtual and augmented reality. Our startups have products within these sectors. Why digital health? We are one of 12 digital hubs in Germany. So the German government selected 12 places in Germany that should represent Germany as a digital and innovative country in the world. So we are the digital health hub. And we support, as one of our main topics, digital health startups in Germany. You can see me on the photo. It was on the Web Summit in Lisbon, where I was and had a panel talk about digital health startups in Germany. So if one of you is interested in the healthcare sector in Germany, please contact me. So how do we support our startup companies? And there are already some examples in the prior talk. And what we do is coaching and hands-on support. So we have a huge network of entrepreneurs and business leaders that coach our startup companies. But we also work for our startups. So we have a team at the moment of 10 people. and these 10 people work within the startup companies. So for example, if a startup is in need of IT support or design support or financial support, then we have experts that work for some hours a week within the startup and help them, for example, write a business plan or write a pitch deck to pitch in front of investors. So we not only coach, but we also work with our startups. Then, as I mentioned, we have a huge corporate partner network. I will show you what partners we have in some other slides. And then we have an investor network, so we connect with corporate investors, but also private investors, for example, business angels in Germany that are interested in investing in our startups. Then we do talent scouting, so we help our startups find new employees. But we also help to start new companies. So we are doing workshops and ideation workshops to create new startup teams. And this is what we do with pupils, so with high schools, but also with university students. And we show them how to set up a business, how to find good ideas, how to find the first money, how to produce a product, and then we help them, find the right team and start their business. What we also do, and I will show you some photos, we have an office space where startups can rent really cheap office space. So we're probably the cheapest one within our region. And we will implement a tech space. So startups will be able to produce prototypes for their business. So for example, if you're an IoT startup and need some electronic devices, we are having a tech space where you can produce them for free. So what we offer is basically a free service for all our startups. So the only thing our startups have to do is to apply for our service, apply for our tech incubator, pay a little bit of rent, and then everything, the coaching, the prototyping, everything is free of charge. And also important, we don't take shares in our company. So a lot of incubators, and some of them were mentioned, their business model is to take shares in the companies and help them develop and then, and sometimes sell it. We don't do this at the moment. We don't invest in our company, so we don't take any shares, which is kind of a fair and cheap deal for our startups because they don't have to give away equity. But we're establishing a venture capital fund at the moment. This will be a separate company, so we will be able to invest in our companies in the future, but it's not a necessity to do so. What do our startups do? What does the first incubator look like? We just started this year, so we're a really young company as well. And our first batch consists of 24 startups all over Germany. And here you see some logos, a list of our startup companies that we support. If you're interested in what the startups are doing, just go on solwolf.com/startups, and we have all the information about all of our startups, which technology they use, the founding team, and in which stage they're in. Just to give you some examples what the startups are doing. For example, Holoneering is on the right and the back. Holoneering has developed an augmented reality application to showcase production data as a live stream. So, for example, Audi and Mercedes are one of their customers. And if you want to showcase production data, some part of a car, for example, you can sit around the table, watch it in augmented reality, and make it really easy to showcase one part of the car, for example. So with other companies, for example, JobUFO, which is on the top on the right, JobUFO is a mobile application. So if you want to apply as a young person, you can use their app. And just talk to your phone, make a video of yourself, and apply to the company. So in the future, in Germany, you won't need any CV and application process, complicated application process. It's going to be really easy. Just use your smartphone, make a video, and then send it to your future employer. So this is one of 2 examples of what our startups are doing. What does our incubator program look like? So how do we support our startups? One thing is we're doing workshops. We organize workshops for our startups. So we invite, for example, successful entrepreneurs to our office and they showcase how they started their own business, how they sold their business, how they pitched to investors. What we also do, and this is maybe kind of unique, we call it Startup Deathmatch. So every 2 weeks, all of our startups have to go on the stage in front of all the other startups and present what goals they reached for the last 2 weeks and what goals they have for the next 2 weeks. So in front of all the other startups, they have to tell everyone, if they're successful and what goals they reached and what goals they didn't reach. So it makes the progress of our startups kind of transparent. The third thing what we do is corporate matchmaking. So I will show you a slide with what corporates we work. But we have a lot of big corporates in our network, and we directly connect our startups to our corporate companies. So I'm a startup founder myself, and in Germany it's always really complicated as a small startup to get in contact with big corporates, maybe with your first client. And we help them connect really early on. So for example, heads of Siemens, they're at Solhof maybe like 5 times a month, and see our startups, talk to them, talk to the founders, get to know the product. And so it's, the chances of placing your product within Siemens gets really high when you know the right person to talk to within this big corporate. And the third thing is business reviews. So once a month, we talk to every startup and see their business plan, see their financials, see how the product is scaling, see if they sold any product. So we're going really into the detail of our startups. So they open up and show us the numbers and everything. So I want to give you an example of our office, what we have at the moment. So at the moment we have 50 desks, around 1,000 square meters. This is our interims office that we use at the moment. And this is the office we're moving into in 2019. It's an old red brick building from 1898. And that's why we call us Zollhof. It's the German word for customs, because this building was an old customs building in Germany. So we're gonna use this building for our startup companies. And just to give you some examples what it looks like, so it's an old industrial building where our startups will have a lot of space to work and to present our idea. This will be the future event area. And this old looking cellar will be our tech space. So as I mentioned, our startups are able to produce prototypes within our incubator, and in the future we will have a 700 square meter prototyping tech space where you can produce prototypes for free. So for example, we will have a milling machine, we will have electronic workplaces, but we also will have servers where startups can implement and test their applications. Our future office will be around 3,000 square meters, 100 desks, 4 floors, tech space, and also like a cafeteria and bars. So startups, can work there, eat there, and also sleep there. It will be a building, as mentioned before, where startups, can work and live. So coming to our partner companies, who do we work with? And I think that's what we call them, we have friends in the business. So our companies are kind of friends, because it's really, really, really important to connect the startups with our partner companies within the old industry. Because, all the big German corporates, they're searching for new solutions, they're searching for new digital minds, for innovative new employees. So that's why they work with us. And you see the 4 founding members, Coburg, Schaeffler, Siemens, and Nürnberger Insurance Company. And then there's some more that joined us. There's, for example, NRG is one of the biggest energy providers in Germany. This is one company that partners with us. Also Adidas is one of our big partners. They're really active in the startup scene. They, I think 2 years ago, they bought Runtastic, which is one of it used to be the biggest running app in the world. They bought it for like 200 million euros. So Adidas is really, really starting to get into the startup ecosystem. We're also working with banks, for example, Sparkasse, which is one of the biggest banks in Germany. They are supporting us and working really closely with our partners and with our startups. And then we also have supporters, we call them. These are active directly for our startups. So for example, Google Cloud Platform offers $3,000 every year for every startup, so that our startups can use their servers and their applications. The same goes for DigitalOcean or Samsung Internet. And we also work with Flixbus. Flixbus, I don't know if you've seen the logo. Flixbus is the biggest bus provider in Europe. So it's a typical platform business, the same as Airbnb, for example. Flixbus doesn't own any bus, but they're at the moment the biggest bus provider in Germany. And this is a startup that comes from Nürnberg, so from my hometown. And it's one of the, as mentioned before, one of the unicorn startups from Germany. So they are valued with more than $1 billion. And it's one of the biggest startups in Germany and one of the main success stories from our region. So how do we cooperate with startups and our corporates? So for our corporates, as I mentioned, there are several reasons why they work with us. And one is our talent pool. So we have events I think we have like 4 to 5 events every week. And we have a lot of IT specialists and a lot of students that want to join our partner companies, and we try to connect them really early on. Then, for example, we have the 24 startups we work with, so we connect our startups with the corporates. But also our corporate companies can rent space within our incubator. So there's office space and desks that our partner companies can rent and work on a daily basis with our startups. And one example how we connect students and corporates and startups is our corporate acceleration program. It is a 3-month program where we hire students from the university and from schools from the region and lead them in this 3-month program. And for example, our students set up and define KPIs for our startups. They design and prototype. And in the end, there's a demo day. So in the end, they have to pitch in front of our companies, in front of our partner companies, pitch their ideas, and we can help them set up their business in the future. So this is one example how we try to connect them and how we help students find a job. Just to give you an example, this is one team which is Easy Credit, is one of the biggest banks in Germany, and they took 3 employees and rented an office space, and we combined them with our students, and they did an virtual reality app, and it's a training center in virtual reality, and we helped them develop this idea with our students. So some key learnings about this corporate acceleration program. Teams must be free, so student teams must have freedom and must be independent from the university and from their corporate structure. Placement is really important, so the teams must be in another area. So if you're Siemens, it's not really good when the people are sitting at Siemens when they want to try to invent new ideas. It's better to give them new spaces to work. And then also our students, it's a learning experience. So it's not all about the new products, but it's also learning experience and getting to know our partners. Then, for example, just one picture, what we do is, as I mentioned, corporate matchmaking. We connect startups and our corporates. This is one of the 2 board members of Nürnberger Insurance Company. So it's always on a C-level, on a high level. So even the board members join us, get to know our companies, because it's really important that the board members know what they want to do and how they want to interact with our startups. To give you some more ideas, some more pictures, some more ideas how we work, what we do also is startup pitches. So our startups can pitch in front of a large audience, so kind of the same here. You can pitch, 5-minute pitch, show your product, show your idea, and we invite investors, partners, etc. And so you can get to know maybe your first contractor. Then what we also do is startup meetups. So we invite successful founders. In this meetup, it was about digital health, and it was a startup with around 100 employees. I think they're doing about 10 million in revenue. So kind of a early on successful startup, and they were telling how they implemented their product, how did they find their first investor. What we also do, we invite entrepreneurs in front of a large audience. The one hand on the right, so the second from the right, is Daniel. He's one of the founders of Flixbus. So he's one of the founders from this unicorn billion-dollar startup, and he's a big fan of Zollhof, and he's visiting us a lot of times and talking about his experience as well. What we also do, and it was mentioned in the speech before, we're doing hackathons. And I think hackathons is a really, really important event and method to bring together students to invent new ideas and test new technologies. And we call this Hack Day, our hackathon. It is a 2-day tech adventure. We had around 240 participants. And the goal is to solve real-world problems. And how we do this is our corporate companies, they decide what challenges and what technologies they want to bring in to the hackathon. And then the challenge is worked on by our participants. And the best teams get awarded in the end. So the goal is to build prototypes within 2 days. So we had around 1,000 tech gadgets. We had 6 challenges provided by 10 corporate partners. So for a corporation, they can give out, for example, one challenge was Adidas. They made a copy of their online store. So like a one-to-one copy of their online store, and the challenge was, please hack our website. Please hack our online store. So this was the challenge. And one of the winning teams actually was from this Adidas challenge. So, it's a good example to how we connect corporates and students, and how we can, find new innovative ideas on existing technologies. And we had 3 winners at the end, and we're helping these 3 winners to start their company. So what we did is we connected them to our corporates, and our corporate companies now invested in these 3 teams. And they're building up a company now, and they're sitting at Zollhof, having office, hiring people, hiring students. So the student teams. So to come back to my first sentence, if you don't have a job, if you want to join the job market, create your own job. So these 3 teams, these 3 winning teams, they were students. They studied at university, and they're now starting their own companies with the first small investment from our partner companies. So this is, one example how, for example, hackathons can help to find a new job. So Zollhof, in a nutshell, we're the new home for tech startups and digital innovators. I hope I could give you some information, what we do, some examples of the events we do, how we connect corporates and startups. If you have any questions, feel free. If you want to connect to me, just write me an email at bb@zollhof.de. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Benjamin Barr. It's very impressive.